Hello everyone and welcome to this vlog. Today I'm gonna take you with me to do some work on my thesis at an archaeological park. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Jo. I'm an ancient studies major and I live in Rome, and I'm going to graduate with a thesis in Latin epigraphy, which is basically the study of ancient Roman inscriptions. My thesis work consists of documenting, transcribing, analyzing, cataloging and publishing some of the inscriptions at an archaeological park here in Rome, which have been sitting unopened in a bunch of trunks for like 60 years. And today is my first day seeing them in person. I have seen photographic documentation of the material I'm going to be working on, and I have in turn photographed that material because it's stored in my university's epigraphic archives and they cannot leave the archives. But of course, seeing the material in person is an entirely different thing, and I'm so excited for it. There's going to be so much information to be gleaned from it. I have, of course, started doing some work, some analysis on the photographic evidence I have, and on all the information that has been written down from, again, 60 years ago. But I will, of course, need to check with the actual surviving material to make sure that my assessments were correct. And of course, I have all sorts of measurements to take, which is why I'm bringing some measuring tape with me. I am gonna meet up on the way there with a friend and colleague of mine who is working on the same thesis as me, but with a different batch of inscriptions, a different trunk. So I better get going.
Con le macchine, vabbè.
Eccole!
Esatto.
Cioè, vedi, è un mondo magico questo. Ah, è papale.
Ah, sì, papale.
No, non è vero.
Non è papale?
Non ci sono le api.
E di chi è allora? Vediamo? Sì, è in ebraico.
Sì. Lì c'è un busto.
È vero, c'è un busto. Senza testa. Sembra un busto. Abbandonato a se stesso. Ah, Cas 4 H.
Magari è un'indicazione di officina.
After a healthy bit of digging around, the director finally came to let us into the staff-only part of the archives, and we got started on our work. As you can see, they had laid out each of our lots separately, so there would be no mix-ups, and there were also, some other workstations for other projects that were ongoing. The director gave us some documentation for us to fill out as we worked on analyzing each piece. We took measurements of height, width, thickness, and letter size, which are obviously way easier to take in person than in photo. And we provided a transcription of the writing itself, and we noted down the potential usage of each piece, which is easier for some pieces than others. Most of our inscriptions were funerary, as that is the vast majority of all surviving epigraphic evidence. But while some were very fragmentary, others were basically intact and fully legible, and it gave us a lot to sink our teeth into. We were able to narrow some of them down to a span of decades, based on original usage, formulaic language, and people's names, which also allowed us to gather and understand the social status of these subjects. This is really my favorite part of epigraphy. It's not the big flashy inscriptions on the imperial monuments. It's the concrete ability to learn the stories of, slaves, people of the humblest and lowest classes, from something as basic and common as a headstone, and the fact that we can remember that these people existed, that we can keep their memory alive 2,000 years after their death.